In this video, we'll be replacing brake rotors on a Jeep Liberty. First thing you're going to want to do is remove the wheel. This is the front wheel. You can measure the rotor to see if it's still within spec, and if it is, then you are able to resurface the rotor. And in this case, it looks like it is. So he's going to take that rotor off. Unbolting the caliper, there's two 13mm bolts. And then make sure that you set that aside. Don't let it hang by the brake hose. Remove that rotor. Then he's going to take it over and clean it up a little bit. Using a die grinder, he's going to get that rust off the outside and the inside there where it mounts up against the hub. Then he's going to mount it on the lathe, and he's going to resurface that brake rotor by cutting off a very small amount to resurface it. He's going to then clean the brake hub and spray anti-seize on it, and also on the axle, and then mount that, hopefully preventing rust in the future. He's going to reattach the caliper. He's putting some thread lock on those bolts to keep them from backing out, and he's going to tighten those to 28 foot-pounds each. For the rear rotors, he's going to do the same thing. He's measuring them to see if they stay within spec, even after he cuts them. And he is able to do that, so he's going to remove the caliper. Again, two 18mm bolts. And again, make sure that you don't let that caliper hang by the hose. Remove the rotor. It's going to do the same thing, cleaning that up using a die grinder, just getting that rust off. And he's going to attach that to the brake lathe. And again, he's going to resurface that brake rotor, keeping it within specs so that it doesn't need to be replaced. Going to resurface the hub, get the rust off of that, spray it with anti-seize, again to help prevent that from happening again, and then install the rotor, either the new one or the resurfaced one. He's going to add some anti-squeal compound to that to keep it from making noise, and installing the thread lock to the two bolts that he's going to install for that caliper, two 18mm bolts, and he's going to tighten those down to 75 foot-pounds each. He's going to reattach the wheels and tighten those lug nuts up to 100 foot-pounds each, and you're all set.